Which shape do not represent a fraction? Which shapes do not, can you see the word not, represent a fraction, and why? These are the shapes. I have a square, a triangle, and a circle. And these parts are shaded. Which one doesn't represent a fraction? Look here at this square. It is cut into 5 parts. Here 5 parts and here 5 parts. The first one in the square, is this a fraction? Let us see. Yes. I need you to look at the parts in this triangle. Does this represent a fraction? No. And at the last shape, the circle, it doesn't represent a fraction, but why? The first one represents a fraction because I shaded 3 out of 5. And these 5 parts are equal in size. Equal parts, so it is a fraction. While in this one, I can see some parts are small and some parts are big. So not all the parts equal. So they are not equal parts, so it is not a fraction. The same thing here in the circle. Are the parts equal in size? No. Some of them are small, some of them are big. So this one does not represent a fraction. And why? Because they are not divided into equal parts. But the first one that has happy face, equal parts, so it represents a fraction. How do I write the fraction that I describe? 1 slice of the pizza, look here. How can I write this fraction? I only eat 1 slice of this pizza. My pizza is cut into 8 parts. And if I eat 1 part, how can I write this fraction? Fraction is a number, but it is written in a special way. How? A unit fraction describes 1 part of the whole parts. Let us see. I have this rectangle, it's a whole rectangle, and this one is a whole rectangle. This rectangle is divided into 3 equal parts. 1 out of 3 is called 1/3. So this is a unit fraction. A unit fraction, 1 part. While this rectangle is divided into 8 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one is a unit fraction, unit 1/8. We use numerator and denominator to describe a fraction. I repeat this one again. We use numerator and denominator to describe a fraction. What does this mean? In order to write a fraction, there are 2 parts of the fraction. One of them is called a numerator and the other one is called denominator. And I need you to look here at the word denominator. It starts with D. Okay? Let us see what does this mean. I have a whole pie here. Can you see? It's a whole pie. 1 whole pie. It is divided into how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Each part is called 1/4 or 1 out of 4, 1/4. In order to write a fraction, I put this middle line, I put a dash line, a line, okay? There is 2 numbers, one above the line and one that comes down, down the line, okay? I need you to connect this with the word D in the denominator, okay? Over the line, I write the numerator. And down, down, I write the denominator. What is the numerator? Numerator represents the number of the shares describes. Here, I describe only 1/4. Okay, the part is 1/4. Here, how many equal shares on the whole? I start with the denominator, that is down, denominator down. The down number, which is called the denominators, represent how many equal parts are on my whole. Into how many parts do I divide my whole? How many parts are in my whole? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 parts. So this represents my denominator. I write it down. Down, start with D. Denominator, start with D. This 4 equals represent my whole number parts. Into how many parts do I divide my whole? I divide in my whole, there are 4 parts. So this one, total parts. This one is the total parts, 4. And each one is a unit fraction, 1/4. What if I ate this part of this pie? I only eat this part. I only eat one part. So this one is a denominator. Now, how many parts do I eat? I will describe one part. So it is 1 and it is called a numerator. Okay? So this is how I write a fraction. Numerator up, a dash, denominator down. 1/4, this is my numerator, fourth, 4 parts. My whole is cut into 4 parts, so the denominator is 4. Another example, I have one whole rectangle, and this rectangle is divided into how many parts? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many parts this whole is divided to? My whole has 8 equal parts, and this one represents the denominator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1/8. I write the dash. Above, how many equal shares are being described? I want to describe one part, so I write one part. 1/8, 1 numerator. And what is my denominator? I will write it down. The denominator means this whole is divided into how many parts? The total parts. Okay? The total parts, if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I write 8. So my fraction is 1 divided by 8. 1/8. This is a numerator and this one is a denominator, and my fraction is 1/8. This is a whole circle. It is divided into 2 parts. So I divide my whole into 2 parts. What is the fraction here? I put the dash. I write the denominator up and the numerator down. Is this true? Is this correct? I write 2/1. Is this correct? For sure not. The denominator must be down, not up. Now, how can I write it in the right way? Again, numerator dash denominator. How many parts are shaded? One part. I write one part. I put the dash. My whole circle divided into how many parts? This whole is divided into 2 equal parts. So I write 2. 1/2, or 1 divided by 2. It's half. 1/2. This special fraction is called 1/2. do I write the fraction that describe one slice of my pizza? This is the same example. Okay, I have a pizza and it is cut into 8 equal parts. If I eat only one slice, can you see? Okay, one slice. How can I write the fraction? Which fraction represent the slices that I have eaten? I have eaten one part. I put the dash, the fraction line, and 1 out of what? 1 out of the whole pizza. 1 out of the whole pizza, but this whole pizza is divided into 8. I count how many parts are there in my whole. How many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. And this will be my denominator, which I write it down. Denominator, down. Numerator, denominator. So my fraction is 1/8. Use numerator and denominator to describe a fraction again. This one have 4 parts. What is the fraction? Let us see. 4 parts. It is 1 out of 4. 1 part out of the whole, which is 4. Look at 2, 3, 4. This rectangle is divided into 6 parts. These 6 parts are my denominator. I count how many parts in all, and this represents my denominator. So 6 parts. And 1 part is 1 out of the whole, 1 of the 6. So it is 1/6. And look at this circle, it is cut or it is divided into 8 equal parts. These 8 parts represent the denominator. This whole is divided into 8 parts. So the 8 represent my denominator, and 1 part is 1 out of 8, 1/8. Okay.